Okay, so maybe 2025 took something from you. It might be your health, your independence, your job, someone you loved, or even now it could be something that you never imagined, you never expected, but you did. And now you're sitting here wondering, who am I now? If the person you were is completely gone and the new person you're becoming is unclear, this video is for you because 2026 isn't about going back, it's about moving forward as someone new. And that person, yes, that person is worth knowing. You have two choices here: grieve the old you forever or courageously meet the new you. And today, we're going to choose the second option together. Hello, welcome to InspireAbility, where we tackle real life challenges with practical strategies and genuine hope. I am Ruby, and whether you're living with a disability, chronic illness, or navigating major life changes, this channel is your space to find solutions that actually work to your reality. If you're new here, hit the subscribe and turn on the notification bell. We're building a community together that we're not just surviving, but we're thriving regardless of what life has thrown at us. And today's topic is personal, it's powerful, and it might exactly be what you need to hear as you step into this new year. Let's dive right into it. I want us to first start by acknowledging what 2025 took. We have to be honest about this because sometimes we think, whoa, that year was brutal. But all of us don't want to speak out about how much the year was brutal. And 2025 might have been that for you. Maybe you lost your health, the diagnosis changed everything. Suddenly you have chronic conditions you're managing, your fatigue never lifts off, you're in constant, consistent pain, you have limitations that you could never have imagined. Maybe you did lose your independence. Things did not just work out the way you felt. And you're thinking, oh, I can't walk, cook, do things I used to do. Now I need help. I need adaptation. And this is just impossible. My life is now unbearable. It's completely different from what I used to know it as. And maybe you lost your identity. Maybe you were a caregiver, maybe or a provider, and the strong one, the one everybody came to. But now you're the one who needs care. You're unemployed, or you're the person who everybody else has to worry about. So you lost your old identity. And maybe you're somebody that lost somebody, maybe a spouse, a parent, a child. And the role you played, like the married role, the caretaker, the parent, disappeared with this person. Here's what I need you to understand: your grief is definitely valid. Your sense of loss is real. You're not being dramatic. You're not overreacting. When fundamental aspects of identity change, it can be quite disorientating, painful, and very terrifying. So no, you're not making it up. And studies have shown that major life disruptions such as chronic illness, disability, bereavement, all of this create what psychologists will call identity discontinuity. So your brain is literally struggling to connect you with who you were and who you are now. So there's a disconnect there. Who was I before and who am I now? So if you feel lost, that's not weakness. That's just being human. And we are allowed to be human. So here's the thing. You cannot stay there. You can't spend 2026 mourning the version of yourself that you lost last year or maybe a few years ago. Because that person, they're actually gone. And the longer you try to resurrect them, the longer you delay meeting the new person that you are becoming. That person, that new you, deserves to be known, deserves to be celebrated, and given the chance to thrive. And that's what we aim to do together today. Let's go a step further. The new you is not a downgrade. That is a lie a lot of people believe, and you probably do as well. Oh, the new me is lesser than the old. Who says that? No, you're not less. You're just different. And different is not a demotion, it's actually a transformation. Think about this practically. You might not be able to work a traditional job, a normal 9 to 5, but that's forced you to develop skills in other areas like advocacy, adaptation, resilience that most people would never learn. So it's not actually a demotion. So you might not be able to walk independently anymore, but you've developed problem solving abilities, you've developed patience, you've developed a perspective about what truly matters that abled people, bodied people would never be able to know, understand. So you might not be married anymore. And now you have that autonomy, you have self knowledge, and the opportunity to define your life on your own terms, which you probably did not have when you were married. So, yes, what research on post traumatic growth tells us that people who face significant adversities and intentionally, underline the word intentionally, process it, they don't just recover, they often develop. So they develop deeper relationships and appreciation for connection. They also develop greater personal strength and confidence. So new opportunities that you never pursued before will just come your way. So enhanced appreciation for life is another thing you get. Spiritual and physiological development and growth also is what you experience when you intentionally process what you've gone through. But it's actually very crucial to remember that this is not automatic. You just don't wake up transformed one day. You have to actively participate in discovering who you are becoming. You have to ask yourself some questions. Who am I now without losing the role I used to play? What strengths have emerged from my struggles? What new opportunities, what new possibilities exist that I never considered before? What do I value now that I didn't value previously? What can I do now that I couldn't or wouldn't do before? I'll give you some examples I've come across. I mean, for a person actually went through a bit of it. When I had my accident and acquired disability, at that point, I thought, oh, everything was finished. I would never be myself again. Yes, I did realize that I would never be myself again. I defined myself by being that active, smart person that everybody looked up to, everybody turned to, the solution giver to everybody everywhere. And losing that felt like I'd lost everything. But in the process of adapting, I discovered that I was resourceful in ways I never imagined before. I developed patience I never knew. I built connections with people I never would have met. I found purpose in advocacy. I never would have even thought of this before. I didn't become less, I became different. And honestly, in many ways, I became richer, more developed, more grown up, and better perspective to life, and better appreciation of things that I've ever done before. So, what are the practical steps for you to get to know yourself again? How can you actually do it? How can you rediscover yourself in 2026 because you need it to be able to move forward? This first thing we want to do is conduct an identity inventory. Identity inventory. I need you to grab a journal. Yes, I need you to write everything down. You have to answer 3 questions honestly. Then we'll be able to discover the new you. The first one is, what have I lost? I don't want you to minimize it. I want you to list everything. Everything you possibly would have lost. Possibly your physical abilities, maybe your role as a parent, as a caregiver, as an athlete, as an employer, as an employee, as a spouse, what role you've lost. Maybe your independence, your relationships, your confidence, anything whatsoever you've lost, I want you to note them down. Dreams you've had to release, note everything down. Don't spare. Don't think anything is insignificant. I need everything down on paper. The second bit is what remains. This is crucial because I can bet you've not lost everything. Things like your core values might still be there. Your personality traits, mine is still very intact. That's probably why I'm in front of this camera having this chat with you. Skills that transfer, relationships that survived, interests that you've adapted. So I want you to list those things that are still there. Then the third question is, what is new? So what have you gained? Even if you didn't want them, but you've gained them anyway. So it could be new perspective, unexpected strengths, different priorities. It could be new connections, new engagement with other people. It could be skills you've had to develop. So all of these things that you've now acquired since the new you is becoming, I need you to note them all down. Now, this exercise isn't about toxic positivity. You're not pretending loss didn't happen. You're just getting a very clear picture of where you are currently, and now you can navigate from here to where you wish you were. Navigating from the present you to where you should be, where you're becoming. We're not moving you back to where you wish you were. We are moving you to where you should be right now because of the change that has occurred. The next thing I want us to do is I need us to redefine success with your new reality. Your old metric for success does not apply anymore. So I want you to be in it because it's okay that it doesn't apply anymore. That does not make it bad. Maybe success used to be working 50-hour a week, but it might now be just managing your energy for 20 productive hours a week. That's still fine. Maybe you used to run the marathons, but now you can only manage walk to the mailbox 3 times a week. That is fine as well. Maybe you used to cook elaborate meals, but now you just manage meal preparation services. That's the only way you can ensure you get proper nutrition for the week. That is fine. Maybe you were everybody's rock, everybody came to, but now you're asking for help when you need it, and you're the one everybody has to consider before they make decisions. That is okay. I need you to write down your new success matrix. What does a good day look like for you now? What does progress look like in this body, in this situation, in this season? Your new body, your new situation, your new season, your new life. What does success look like? I need you to remember that success is not a one-size-fits-all. It's deeply personal and situational. So make sure it is for you and based on your situation. Do not copy somebody else's. The next thing we will then do is identify new possibilities. This is quite the exciting part, really. What can you do now that you could not do before? Maybe you finally have the time to write that book. Maybe you cannot pursue online education in a field that has always interested you. So maybe you now have the perspective to be able to mentor other people facing similar challenges. Maybe you can volunteer in ways that does not require physical stamina. Maybe you've been able to develop a side business from home. Maybe you have time now to deepen relationships. You're not too busy. You're not constantly on the go. Now you can spend time with your children, spend time with your spouse or your parents to deepen those relationships. One of the most powerful questions you can ask is, what does open? And what door was this that opened to me in the new phase of my life? Not in a silver lightning way, really, but in a genuine curiosity way. Curious way of identifying what does open. What opportunities exist now that weren't there before? I need us to note down all of those. I need you to use your curious mind to get the answers to those questions. I want you to build new routines and rituals. Your old routines don't work anymore, so it's time to build new ones. Do you not think? And I want you to do them in such a way that honors your new person. So your morning routine might look like gentle stretches or meditation, not 5K run like you used to do. Maybe journaling about energy level and pain to identify the pattern. maybe small accomplishment before noon, and maybe your evening routine might now include reflecting on what went well so that you're building self-appreciation, and maybe preparing for tomorrow using adaptive plan in the evenings, maybe gratitude practice to shift the neural pathway so that the right hormones gets through your body. So maybe that's your new routine, which wasn't there previously. I want you to note all of those down. Now, the goal isn't to recreate your old life with modification, and I need you to be very, very aware of it. It's to create a new life that fits who you are becoming. We're not going to remodify your old life and polish it. No, we're going to fit everything into who you're becoming, because that's what is crucial here. Another thing I need you to do for your 2026 to be a very productive and a successful one is to seek community. You cannot do this alone. You need people who understand your reality. You need things like support groups, online communities, disability network. People will get it without explanation. You need them on your side. People who can see your potentials, like friends, family, the therapists that help you see the potentials you couldn't. So you also need those ones on your side. Grab as many of them as you can into your community. People will challenge you, not in a just think positive way, but in a you are capable of more than this or more than you think way. Those actually challenge you, that encourage you to be your best self. Get them in your community. I need you to find these people. I need you to invest in these relationships in 2026. They are not optional. They are essential people that must be in your community. So I need you to do everything best possible to ensure that you build those relationships and they thrive. Now, permission to be a work in progress. This is your permission slip for 2026. So I need you to note it down and remember it consistently. You don't have it all figured out, and you don't have to have it all figured out by January 31st or even December 31st. It's fine. Rediscovering yourself is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. So some days you'll feel confident in who you're becoming. Other days you'll grieve who you were. Both days are okay. Just go with the process. We're not trying to achieve perfection as the goal here. We're going through a process. It's the showing up day after day and saying, I'm willing to meet myself where I am. I'm willing to explore who I am becoming. I'm willing to build a life that works for this version of me. That is what we need us to do. That is courage, that is strength, and that is what celebrating. So as we step further into 2026, I want you to make a commitment. I will stop trying to resurrect who I was. I will start rediscovering who I am. I'll give myself permission to be different. I will build a life that honors my current reality. And I'll do it one day, one choice, one small win at a time. I want to tell you that you've got this. The new you is already here, and they are just waiting for you to say hello to them. That new you is knocking very quietly, saying, please allow me a chance. So I do want you to allow them the chance in 2026, and you'll be amazed at what you discover. All right. I do want to hear from you. So drop a comment by finishing the sentence. The new me is. Tell us what the new you is. It'll be wonderful to be able to support ourselves. And we would like to celebrate who you're becoming. Let's celebrate who we are becoming together. If this resonates with you, why don't you hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this talk. Sometimes we need permission to stop trying to go back and start moving forward. And you have that permission today. So I want to remind you to subscribe if you've not already done so. We're diving into practical strategy for thriving despite challenges all year long. Click the bell so you don't miss the next video. And by next video, I would have a link to resources on identity, on community support, on adaptive living that would help you through this journey this year. So you don't want to miss the next video. And it'll be in the description as well. I'll make sure it's there next week. So you are not alone. We're figuring this out together. I want to see you in the next one. Make sure you keep cool. Remember, difference doesn't mean less. No, it means different. And the person you're becoming, they're absolutely worth knowing. It will do you all the good to meet this new person, and you will love them. Again, I am Ruby, and this is InspireAbility, where we don't just adapt, we thrive. We ensure that we are permitted to be uniquely ourselves. See you next time. Bye for now. Bye.